4 or 5 of those at the gym, but still just fucking like. I've been running too. I'm gonna be shit. This whole month gonna be crazy for me.
You been high at the gym yet?
Huh?
You been high at the gym yet?
Yeah.
It's amazing, right?
Shit is amazing. Shit is off the fucking chain.
I got stoned and tried yoga.
Say what?
I got stoned and tried yoga.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was legit.
I was about to say it gotta be legit because it makes you feel more flexible.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, the more I think about it, man, I'm a huge proponent for getting high and going to the gym.
Yeah, I actually read about it and it says it's a lot of benefits to it. So there wasn't really any downsides to it other than the dehydration of it, but just drink water.
Right. I mean, you should be doing that regardless.
Yeah. But no, that shit do dry you out, motherfucker though.
But doesn't it? I mean, cause like, is it any different than getting high and like doing any other work, like strenuous work? I've never found it to be a benefit.
There's benefit to it.
I can't make that call because I'm high all day.
Because when I did it, because my buddy told me, he was like, man, you should get high and play basketball. He's like, dude, you feel like fucking Jordan. I'm like, I was scared. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Then one day I just was high and went to the gym. And I'm like, fuck, this shit feel amazing, man.
Right.
Like, I recovered quicker. It took me longer to get sore. Just, man, felt more flexible. I could do more.
One of my favorite spring-summer activities is to get high as balls and go longboarding.
But does it hit you on the back end? Like, so there's got to be like something to take away from that. Like, because you're right. Like, I'll smoke a nice sativa. I can be like super more productive. Yard work. Oh, fucking ripping shit out. But the next day, I always feel like, yep, overextended. Like, my body is just like, yeah, you done fucked up.
Yeah, but you can't blame that on the weed.
You kind of can, because I see what he's saying. It kind of fools your body into thinking you can do more than it can handle the next day you pay for it. But I mean, that's just you knowing your body, though, man. I like I said, I was a gym rat before, so I know what I can do. So it's nothing to me, and I don't know, it just works for me, man. Like I said, I researched it, and it's all good benefits, you know.
Right.
You know, but that was one of the things. It was saying like you can, like it can kind of trick you to make you believe like, oh, I can go more. And, you know, you end up ripping the muscle and shit because you're going too hard and you can't feel it. But, you know, like I said, just knowing yourself. Something wrong, James?
I don't know if I've ever been high enough to, like, still be aware of my body's limits.
Yeah. I experimented with it, like the doses and stuff, and like sativas and indicas and stuff, but I found the right mix. And, yeah.
What do you prefer?
So what I do, you know, I eat edibles.
All edibles all day.
Yeah, what I do, I'll take one indica, one sativa.
Okay.
That's it, and then.
Can you get a hybrid edible? I don't really buy edibles.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah, you can get hybrids, but I don't.
It's not
really,
the same.
Nah.
Fair.
No, I tend to do, like hybrid, I actually, from an edible perspective, I tend to usually go with at the end of the day, because I've made the mistake of, because I travel with edibles, and I'll grab some indica, help me sleep, wind down at the end of the night, and I got my sativas to drive me through the day. And when you fuck those two up, it's a fucking problem because you do not sleep. Fuck that.
Ooh,
sativas don't keep me from sleeping. Like, I'll go to sleep on sativa.
Yeah, man. Like, I can smoke, like, 2 blunts of sativa and drink 2 rock stars and go to sleep in, like, 20 minutes.
Jesus.
Now,
I fucking envy that shit.
Oh, man, I mean, you didn't fucking...
Yeah, I can sleep anywhere. Anytime, any place.
Them shits make me feel like I'll be out, Joe. I'll be fucking melting. I'm off them indicas.
Oh, I love all of it. I'll smoke all the weed.
Anything interesting happened this week for you guys? Yeah?
Nothing interesting, no.
Yeah, I don't think nothing really happened interesting to me. We had that show together. That was a good show.
I had a pretty good set.
It's a weird
You had
show.
a pretty good set.
Yeah. It's a weird audience. This audience was it was just so many things going on in that motherfucker.
It was. There was like a lot.
Yeah. They didn't go together at all. That audience. And there was some kids. Did you see the kids?
Yeah. I like how they left after I got off stage.
They came back though.
Did they?
Yeah, they came.
Gotcha.
They left when you got on stage, and they stayed gone for like half of the next person's set, then they came back.
I don't know. That's they don't care, man. Like these motherfuckers don't care about their kids hearing this shit. I mean, I don't give a fuck either. If they don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck.
Like, how much
man.
fucked up shit were you exposed to as a kid?
Nothing, man. I had them black parents. They were strict on the shit. But I mean, we snuck off and did shit. You know what I'm saying? But you couldn't. You know, wasn't no cursing, wasn't none of that, no seeing no nudity and no shit like that. You know, strict. But
no,
you know,
no nudity.
Nah, man.
Till when?
Shit, fuck, I don't know. I'm allowed to watch it. Just I wouldn't even watch that shit now in front of my mama, man.
My dad took me to see Rambo when I was like 6.
That's why that's Rambo, ain't shit. You watch violent shit.
No, I'm gonna interject here. Like, I grew up. My mom is from Austria.
Hmm?
I went to Austria on the regular through childhood. Like,
And they got like titties and orange juice commercials and shit, right?
We get fucking billboards, the fucking second page of the newspaper. There's just titties fucking everywhere.
Well, I mean,
I asked my mom when I was 11 for my Christmas present, I want a subscription to Playboy. And I got it. And how weird was that when I got to open that first episode that was gift wrapped and my grandma sitting there? That was kind of a little strange. She's not the European grandma, the American. That's some weird shit. You're just like, cool, titties.
oh hell yeah.
But like tits and porn, never a big deal in my household.
Well, I mean, when you go to foreign countries, nudity isn't a big thing. We make a big deal out of it here. You know, you go to these other countries, they don't give a fuck about walking around naked or titties hanging out or some ass cheeks and shit. We just over here, they sell sex and everything they do in America, but then they tell you, oh, don't be, don't do this, don't do that. And I'm like, nigga, you using titties to sell burgers, but can't have real titties out.
Right. Do you remember that Carl's Jr. commercial
Yeah.
with Kate Upton?
Yeah.
Where it was like dripping between those D cups. Like, are you goddamn kidding me? Like, at least in Europe, there wouldn't have been a fucking bikini top on that. It would have just been like, oh, I gotta pick it off my nipple.
But blows my mind though, and this just lets you see the mentality of the American people is that that's okay, but Janet Jackson's nipple popping out at the Super Bowl drives everybody fucking crazy. A fucking nipple. What the fuck nipples ever do to anybody?
And it wasn't it not
It
actually
wasn't like
her
an
nipple?
unobstructed nipple. Well, I mean, you could
She had
see
like
the
a
nipple, but there
weird-
was like a weird armored plate piercing job thing
Right.
covering like all of her areola and some titty. Like,
That's what I'm saying. This shit is ridiculous, man. The way people react when you watch cartoons now, they simulating sex and shit like that. And I'm like, if you don't want it, then why is these fucking.
No, but that's it. It's like, we're not afraid of the boob, but the nipple, that we got a problem with.
Yeah.
Because like on Instagram,
Because I guess that's the sexual part of it. If you thinking about it in that terms.
is
in those
it
terms.
like do you?
I think that's the way they look at it.
So do you find the nipple to be the sexual part, or is it literally the
I'm
other 90
pro side boob. I'm all about side boob.
Right.
You can have all the side boob in the world as long as that nipple don't come out, man. I'm talking about even in strip clubs, they have to cover their whole titty out just as long as you got something over the nipple to cover it up.
And this is why I believe we should be able to see unobstructed vagina. Just cover that clit. And that's if they can find it.
Just let motherfuckers be naked, man. That's how they create depravity that way, man. When you put it in a motherfucker's face, then you say, "Oh, don't do that. That's wrong." Like you drive motherfuckers crazy, man. It's sex is everywhere, but then they tell you that, but then they make sex this complicated ass thing and shit, and it fucks people up, man. Where we at?
We'll come back to. We'll lap around to the conspiracy of the day for those of you watching on YouTube live. We will talk about false flag operations because I was actually kind of fascinated. It's interesting vernacular that's used.
Are we
a
talking
lot.
about as far as like government operations or?
Well, false flag operations go pretty deep. So, but let's not start too hard. Let's instead talk about this piece of garbage. Do you guys remember the
Yeah.
affluenza teen?
Yep. That was
Bear?
that was a
Like he like hit and ran some people. He was loaded, and then claimed it was because he had the flu.
well, no
And
no
then like his rich parents like shushed him off to Mexico or something.
no. So
You're half right.
affluenza means that he was so privileged that he didn't know the difference between right and wrong, and that's how he got off.
He's so rich that he didn't understand.
And what he did was wrong.
What?
Yeah. And the funny part, so I don't know if you know the rest of the story. So yeah, so he went to Mexico, wasn't supposed to go to Mexico, and then they was up there like, could you please come back? and they eventually came back, but like weeks later, like I don't know. We always see his mama, don't know who his father is. Somebody in that family is powerful than the motherfucker.
Well, they taxed his parents. They basically were like, "You bring your kid back, or we're gonna
But no,
come
it's
after
just
you."
it's just the mom. You never see the dad. They haven't even mentioned the dad. I don't think.
You're correct, and that's because I don't think he's around. I get that. I don't.
There's
know
a
the
father.
Well, of course,
No,
but
no.
I don't think
She's-
he's in the picture.
He's in the picture. He's not in the picture, but he. They're still married. They're still together, but you don't
they
know
are.
who that man is. Ain't seen that man. Ain't heard his name. You always see the mama because she's always with the boy. So I want to know who the daddy is because that's not just money. That's power to be able to do that. To where you just leave the country and you're on probation and they ask you to come back and you just come back when the fuck you want to. That's
Yeah.
power.
And so he killed 4 people in a crash, and I believe, was he drunk when he did this, or was it just him doing some stupid shit? I forget.
Both.
He was drunk because it was a party. And matter of fact, that's why he went. That's why they ran to Mexico because he wasn't supposed to be around alcohol, and he had another party.
Oh, that's right.
And
He was on probation
Yeah.
already, but as a minor, because he'd already been around, and so. Yeah, but the fact, like, he did this, and they were like, he's excused because he didn't know that was wrong. Like, that was their argument. He didn't know killing people with a
and I don't
vehicle
even,
was
was
wrong.
this even a thing before that?
No,
Hey,
affluenza literally was a term his lawyer coined. He's like, well, he's stricken with affluenza. He's so affluent that he doesn't know that killing people with his vehicle was wrong. This is literally the polar end of white privilege.
Yeah.
It's the polar end. It's like you don't go. There's
Wow.
nothing more privileged than this.
Then you can make up a defense that says you're so privileged that you don't know the difference between right and wrong. That's
And you can kill
That
4
is the
people.
craziest shit I've ever heard.
This
You
is
don't
why-
remember this?
I remember it, but I just kept hearing affluenza. I thought he had he claimed that he had the flu, and then I was like, what kind of retarded shit is that?
It sounds like it because of the word, but no, that's what it means. It means he was so privileged that he didn't know the difference between
No, yeah,
right
so
and wrong.
affluent.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
crazy.
you could sum up everything wrong with American society in that fucking sentence. In this case, that he was too rich to be bad at
Joe,
things.
did you-
Fuck
You think he got butt
you s-
fucked while he was in?
He
no,
never went anywhere. He never went to jail.
no, he did. He did 2 years.
Oh yeah. This, come on now. He wasn't in a regular cell. I'm sure this motherfucker.
And,
He
and-
did like one of them country club prisons,
and
right?
every fucking one would have hoped that he went into jail and got his fucking asshole tore apart.
Yep.
But I guarantee he didn't.
Or
Unless,
he paid extra to have him do it.
or he, or maybe he did undergo such awful things that were like, we got to get him out. Like he's done 15 years in 2 years because of how bad he's been fucked up.
So did he get released early, or did he only get 2 years?
No, he got I believe he had like a 5-year, but they're letting him out and he's got a
Where was
pre-probation.
this?
Well, I mean, if he got 5 years, I mean, you do
Texas.
2.5, then you out of there.
Jesus,
Yeah.
Texas, yeah.
You 2.5, you out of there.
That's taking up space that a Mexican could have. Like, they don't fuck around in Texas.
Joe, did you hear about did you hear about the DEA? How the DEA got like $3.2 billion from like all these people that never went to jail? Pretty much they were taking bribes. They
Of
just-
course they were. Of course they were. But wait, no, give me the specifics on this.
I don't have
I'll
all the
see if I-
specifics. I only ran like half of it. But just yeah, look it up. Go to DEA.
Internet has been super slow, which has been fun.
No, go say DEA receives $1.3 billion. Was it three? Well, it might have been 3.2.
Hey, whatever. We'll throw it out there. National health care fraud. Wow, this is... It's interesting when you...
Wow, $7.9 billion down here. $25 billion.
This is just healthcare shit.
Yeah, but DEA is the worst thing ever.
All right, let's go back to it. Fuck, I don't want to spend all
You
day
say
with
it's the worst thing ever, but like, I bet their stuff equally shitty.
it. Yeah.
No, I don't know that I agree with that because the DEA is a place. I honestly believe it's like a worldwide government money laundering operation.
yeah. I can see it.
Because you found a cause that 215-ish countries in the world, let's say like 5 or 10 of them have decriminalized drugs broadly. The rest of them, the DEA is all about. So it's an easy way to be like, oh, money's going to the DEA. You never know how that's getting used. It's literally an unregulated government agency that works without borders. It's like the CIA, except they seem unapologetic about it. If you want to go down to conspiracy theory lane, that's an interesting one because you just look at it, it's like, hey, we got upset with them because they paid a bunch of strippers when they were in Colombia. Seriously, is that the worst they've done?
I mean,
Because this is a lot of times they have these agencies, man, and they're just fronts to go after people, you know, to go after people and motherfuckers and say, oh, well, this person did this, so we have to, the DEA or the C, and it's just they just going after motherfuckers they want to go after, man, and they just doing it in the disguise of
like
some
when was
bullshit.
the DEA formed?
Probably it was under Nixon, I think.
So like in the 70s.
Yeah, late 70s, mid to late 70s.
Dude, this
There you
So
go.
73.
so not even that long, man.
When was the CIA formed?
Oh, Jesus. Fucking
Yeah, that's way-
1938.
Yeah, it's been around for a minute.
47. I was pretty goddamn close. But it was something different before that. It was the SSA or some shit like
What
that.
about the FDA? They full of
Oh,
shit too.
no. Okay, we can do
Food
a whole
and Drug
goddamn
Administration?
episode on the FDA.
Yeah. 1906. Ooh.
Oh, that's rough. OSHA in 71. Environmental Protection Agency in
And
70.
honestly, the FDA was the only one of those three that I think was formed for legitimate reasons.
Yeah, I can see why they were formed, but they full of shit now.
Oh, fuck yeah, they are.
Everybody's. Whenever you have anything that, like I say, represents power, motherfucker gonna come to you and offer you some shit to get their way, and you gonna start taking it. And then
Is there any greater power than being in control of what we are allowed to put into our bodies?
no,
Like, freedom of speech, nobody can fuck with what we see. Let's not go down that path. But if some government organization is given complete power to say that we can't eat this, that seems like you could really control a populace based on that.
Oh, for sure. They already do it in there's prisons in the South that overfeed all the inmates like crazy good food, like home cooked Southern food, like huge portions, because fat inmates are less likely to fight.
And have a harder time escaping, I imagine.
Yeah, all of it.
Hey, that you
Nah,
know what?
they feed their slaves well. Is it?
Jesus. All right, let's change gears slightly. Boozy axe throwing takes off as archaic sport plots 21st century revival.
White people.
It's got to be.
Would you
It's
not?
got to be hipsters.
Okay, if you take the first word off of that statement, axe throwing takes off. But boozy axe throwing, you feel like that? Like, honestly, let's get drunk and throw sharp implements at a
Dude,
thing.
I'm telling you, that is the heritage of my people. As a, like, I'm a Viking. If you go back, I'm a Viking, and that's legit, man. Like, I could see my people doing that shit all throughout time.
I need to research the Vikings. I've been. Needing
It's
to
crazy.
actually
It is
like
fucking
go down that path and research
crazy.
them.
Like, we weren't big on slavery, but we didn't give a fuck about anything else. Like, we
yeah.
would come to your Eastern
Rape and
European
pillage.
country and just take whatever we wanted, women and children included.
Well, we're here in Denver, and so I'm just found an event that's axe throwing here
Book
in Denver.
Axe throwing. Book axe throwing. What's book axe throwing? You throwing at books?
I guess so.
No, they want you to book in axe throwing. This is a venue.
Oh, I thought it said book axe throwing.
Because it's $39.25 per person for a group. $35 if you have more than 35 people. I don't fucking
Who
know.
the fuck?
20 per hour for walk-in. So you can go in and just pay $20 to throw an axe for an hour.
Seriously, like, this is what's going to happen. They're going to outlaw guns and they're going to bunch of crazy white people throwing axes all over the fucking place.
Well, I mean, they've already had knife attacks, and in some country they like banned guns, and now people are like throwing acid on each other. And shit.
I
Dude,
didn't.
crazy shit.
I did not include a headline. I will say that I did come across a headline that for the first time in history, London has a higher murder rate than New York City, and it's all knife-based.
Dude, this is what people need to understand. If a motherfucker gonna snap and want to kill you, they gonna find a way to do it.
And it's crazy because London is like one of the most surveilled cities in the world.
London murder rate higher than New York as police investigate 31st stabbing in capital this year. I'm just saying that our problem isn't guns, it's fucking something else. I don't even want to say what it is. I'm hesitant to say it's mental health. There's bigger fucking problems, and it is not fucking the guns, because you know what? If you'd given these Brits guns, it just would have been less bloody.
Nah, people are like something going on with people, man, to where they cannot starve off impulses to do shit. Like impulse control is just out the window these days. I don't know what the fuck's going on with people. And I'll just be out. When I drive, I see the craziest shit. Like motherfuckers will literally will risk their life with their car to keep a person from getting in front of them or changing lanes and stuff to where they could just let them do it and just be like, okay, whatever, it's one fucking car.
Right.
They'll speed up or try to. I'm like,
Dude, it's
what the fuck?
crazy
Like
out there.
all the time, like ridiculous, man.
I don't have proof for this. This is all theory and hearsay from my mouth. Like, this is what I've come up with. I believe, because you know how I believe that, like, just media in general is super censored and pushed, like, to push everything in a certain narrative. I believe that there's subliminal messages in a lot of that shit. I believe that, like, I'm not saying, like, how they thought there were subliminal messages in Black Sabbath albums that told you to worship Satan or whatever. But, like, I believe that it implants certain ideas in people's head. You know what I mean?
I can believe that because what a lot of people don't even understand how the human brain works. They think, they're in control of what they do, and they really aren't. It's like, because a lot of these advertisement things like that, they don't appeal to you. They appeal to your nature. They're appealing to something deeper inside of you that you don't even know that they're appealing to, and you have these reactions to it, and you don't know where they're coming from when it's like you're being brainwashed.
So one of the interesting fucking weird YouTube holes I've gone down recently has to do with Japanese mindfulness, because Japan, at least in Tokyo and a lot of its cities, has something that we would all assume, like, I think at least the three of us in this room would be down with, which is just like, hey, you see a bunch of bikes, you're not just going to steal a bike because you could.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if people leave their bikes unlocked, like, would any of us feel compelled to just steal that because we could?
No.
I know I wouldn't. Like, I'd love to be able to feel safe.
I would think like, damn, somebody gonna take that bike, but I
Right,
Right, but it's not going to be me.
Yeah.
But that's like sort of our conditioning. So in Japan, there is something, and I as I said, I went down a deep hole about this, and it's called mindfulness, and it's just sort of like, kind of don't fuck with each other, just understand that this person is going to be doing this and accept that they're doing that. Like, people can sleep on a subway
Ain't nobody will fuck with them.
and nobody fuck
Look,
with them
I
with
say
their
this-
like wallet open in their hand. Nobody's going to take that. It's just like, that's that dude's thing. Like, leave it
Hold
be.
on right quick. I seen this video. I seen a video last night where it was a lady sleep on the subway, and two dudes just jerked off on her. Jerked off on a cane and then got off the subway. And she just sitting there with nut all over. I'm like, that's just so. Why would you do like that type of shit happens? And it's just like what you say. It's like people are so. But it used to be like that. It did. It kind of used to be like that in America, to where it's like, hey, that's what you do. This is what I do. We don't fucking fuck with each other. It's cool. But I don't know what happened. Along times, it's like people are getting more and more just. I don't even know what to call it. Like
I actually
Aggressive.
not even
No.
aggressive.
I think it actually has something to do with what we perceive to be the American dream.
Yeah,
The American dream is take every opportunity that's given to you to be successful. And if that's what we are raised into, we're going to look at every opportunity. Oh, that bike's unlocked. There's $300.
Yeah.
Where if you're just like, hey, if we're all cool to each other, we're all better. Like it's a specific. This is like nurture over nature kind of argument.
But you know what it is? I think we were taught to be mindful of one another, but I think through just time, we seen that the people that were telling us to be mindful were the most unmindful motherfuckers. They were doing the most evil shit. So as the population seen it, we like, well, if you're doing that, then I'm going to do that too. And now everyone is like against each other and evil. No one trusts each other because everybody feels like they're, you know what I'm saying, after them or.
It's because everyone in America is looking out for themselves.
Yeah.
Well, but yes. And that's because even the people like teachers, parents, etc., may be telling us and trying to nurture us to be better than our instincts. We turn around and see them do exactly what they've told us not to do, or act in a way, and we interpret that's.
And I think it was taught too, because I think for a very long time, just people, they trusted the government that they would take care of them, they would do the right thing, and then they found out that wasn't the cause, that they were being taken advantage of. And so I think there was a generation of people, the generation before these millennials, that was up there like. They taught them a different way, and it's coming out to where it's like it's changing the face of just American culture.
I think it was before that because
Possibly, I would say.
I mean, I know you and I are about a year and a half apart. I have no idea how old you are. Like
36.
most black people, you could be like 10, you could be like 75. It
I'm
doesn't
36.
crack. So yeah, okay. So we're all within a year of one another, year or two. I think all of us were probably raised to like, don't fuck with that dude's shit.
Yeah.
Like, if we want to go generation on this, but where did the opportunistic? It wasn't after us. It was before us.
Yeah, I would say it's before us. I don't know, but it came about, and now it's like, dude, you can't leave anything anywhere. You got motherfuckers that steal your food out the refrigerator at work.
I think the proudest I've ever been of a society, and this has happened here in Denver. I went to a concert at Red Rocks 5-ish years ago, and entering through the top lot where this turnaround is, if you've ever been to Red Rocks, it's an amphitheater. You got a lower entrance and an upper entrance. I was entering at the upper entrance, and they were turning people back that had fucking weed pipes and weed, right? That was obvious, because if you can't get into a concert with some fucking weed, you're just terrible at your job. But nonetheless, they were taking it, and there's that little stone wall, little brick wall, and they were just tucking it back there. And I'm like, well, I'm from New York. That shit literally a minute later is gone. But as I was exiting the concert, people were going in. Oh, shit, it's still here. That gave me faith in humanity for a brief moment. That, hey, we could just leave it, tuck it here, go enjoy our concert, come out, and it's still there. See, in 37 years of life, I think that's the only example I can cite of that. And
I mean, I've done stuff like that. Like, I mean, just the other day, I was leaving. I was going to the gym, and there was a guy out there, and he was handicapped, mentally handicapped, and he could tell he was lost. And I'm just, and people was just driving by, walking by. He's in the street, almost getting hit and shit. Nobody stopped. So I stopped, and you know, he couldn't really tell me who he was or where he needed to go, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was pretty fucked up. And so I just stood there. I'm like, somebody got to know you fucking missing. So I just stand here with you until somebody comes. I stood there for about 35 minutes. And then some lady finally just appeared, like, oh my God, like, you know, I didn't know he was out the house, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm like, I didn't know where to take him to, so I just kind of stood here with him, you know, so I was going to call the police if I had to leave, but, you know what I'm saying, but here he is, and that's it. But, like, literally, I watched probably 6, 7 people just walk past the man. They see him out there struggling. They laughing at him. Motherfuckers, cars are damn near hitting him because he's, like, walking out in the street and shit.
So you took 30 minutes out of your day for the betterment of another human being that you had nothing related to. How much time would you take out of your day, Bear, to say, just out of the goodness of your heart? I mean, if you had to put it like that, but really in mindfulness to be like, this guy's struggling. Do you, either of you have a limit? Like, honestly, 30 minutes, way higher than I would have spent, to be perfectly honest with you.
I mean, it honestly depends on what I was doing. Like, I wouldn't have been late for work for that guy unless it was like an but like I'd call my boss and be like, hey, I found a retarded guy on the road. I'm going to just hang out with him for a minute.
Yeah, that was my thing. I wasn't in a rush, anything
You know what I
like
mean?
that.
Like-
And I was just kind of standing there, so.
But like if I didn't have, like if it was like a Saturday afternoon and I wasn't doing shit anyways, like, yeah, man, I'd help a guy out till someone more knowledgeable than me could take over at least.
And then it's the thing about it is like he was a black dude, so you really don't want to call the police because you see what they do to mentally handicapped motherfuckers, you know. And he couldn't articulate anything. Like he didn't know where he came from, he didn't know where he needed to go, you know. He couldn't give you any information. So I was literally just standing there, just make sure you didn't get hit, hoping that somebody popped their head out, like you know what I'm saying, he belongs to me or whatever. So and that happened. Like a lady came from like way across the damn courtyard and was like, oh my God, that's my uncle. And I'm like,
Well, I'll be completely honest. So, like a year or so ago, Great American Beer Fest, bunch of us that are down there working that event, and there was a guy whose electric wheelchair died in the middle of the street. I would go so far as to at least get him out of danger. But there were other people I was with that took the time to get him to proper safety. I was not one of those people. I'll be completely honest. Like, to my detriment, like, I was sort of like, seriously, you're going to spend your time. And granted, it's downtown Denver. You see a lot of people that are, I think maybe I'm jaded and I think everybody's trying to, like,
Ooh, you're
get something out of it.
desensitized from working on East Colfax for so long.
Oh, fuck yeah.
you can't. I get that too, because I tell I've switched my ways, because I used to be like that. I used to be like, let me get mad, fuck yours type shit. But as you grow and you mature, you realize that you can't be self-serve. You can't be 100% self-serving, you know, because there's too many people like that. That's why the world's fucked up. You have to be selfless in some situations. You know, you have to be able to give stuff back to the world, man.
But if you honestly believe that the world in general, in America, operated like you said, like if I wasn't going to be worried about getting to work, if I wasn't going to be late to work, like if I had
like,
the time,
if that's the case, I'd like take him to a business or something, like he was a stray dog. Like, I don't know, like I don't mean to sound fucked up. He's not a stray dog, but like at the same time, I can't afford to like not feed my family because I happened upon this guy in the road.
but you pointed out something perfect in there, which is we don't have a culture where you could say to your boss, like, I was doing something that's good for the world or for the culture, for our society, and not be reprimanded, where they'd be like, that sounds good, don't worry, you're still going to get paid for your time. In Japan, it's sort of like, if you did that, like, they just know, like, if you're late, they know if you're late, chances are you did it for noble reasons.
Because it's more of because in America, we think everyone's lying. We don't believe anybody up front. You have to prove to me that you weren't lying. And even then, I kind of don't still fucking believe you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody believes anybody because...
Have you ever had a job where people thought you were above reproach? Where somebody, if you told them, it's like, nope, I'm late for noble reasons, and they were like, oh, okay. We'll just log your clock in time back to that.
It's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, you know, I've seen both sides. I was going to say, you know, if you're just not known for being late and you come in one day late and you're like, hey, this is what I did, then they're more inclined to believe you. But I've seen motherfuckers do that once and get their ass kicked the fuck out of there. or get doc pay because motherfuckers just don't give a fuck. I mean, look at the way jobs work now. You know, it used to be to where jobs kind of gave a fuck about you and your family time. Now, nigga, Joe, Black Friday starts on Monday now. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no holidays to where everything's
Black
shut
Friday
down.
starts in September now.
Dude, it's just so commercialized, and they make motherfuckers work like slaves. It's like now the thing is today they want you to work so much you have no time to do anything else.
And they want you to do that and be honest and noble at the same time.
They don't give a fuck about your honesty and your noble.
They expect that because the first time anybody in a minimum wage job that has to fucking be there for fucking bullshit sales reasons. Oh, I'm not there. Oh, the bus was late, and they find out it's like, no, you just caught a later bus. They fucking fire their ass. Yeah. And it's like, they want us to be machines. There's an endless supply of bodies, and they take that for granted.
And this is what people...
It's not that they take it for granted. That's the plan.
Is it?
Yeah, man.
I believe so now.
They've been conditioning people since, like, early childhood in school.
You want to hear my conspiracy theory? This is mine.
And anytime you don't, like, there's a point where you can expect that there's generations of these kids, like, pre-programmed for this shit. And when you find one that doesn't fucking work, that one's a dud. And you toss it and you move on to the next one.
This is what I believe. I believe that they want to keep you healthy for all your good working years, and then when you get old, you can't put it to the system anymore. You die. That's why they're taking away health care, they're taking away Social Security, pensions, everything. And now, if you notice, they're going to this. They're targeting kids. You know what I'm saying? Even with the whole Parkland, the kids and stuff. Let me say something about these fucking kids. Now, it's 2 kids you see on every fucking thing. Everything. And that little boy is one of the ones that they claim was a crisis actor. And this little boy is everywhere. And it looks like he's been taught, he's been prepped to be as knowledgeable about the things that he knows. And he's up there talking.
Are you talking
that
about
guy,
this guy?
That little kid.
David Hogg.
And her too. The little bald head girl. She's
yes.
there. Come on, look at this shit. Come on, man. But we can't, we got to act like we don't see this shit. And so what I think they're trying to do now is they're trying to give kids leaders that can give them the propaganda that now they don't even need to go to their parents anymore. We're going straight to the kids. So we're going to get them when they're young. So now you're less able to rebel because we got your mind at a young age. That's my conspiracy theory. I have no grounds to prove that.
I fully believe it. Yeah. I co-sign it all day just based on
this dude is everywhere. Him and her. Everywhere. It's too weird. It's too weird, man.
So David Hogg, if I understand, and I may have this grossly incorrect. So David Hogg is a Parkland shooting survivor, and Bear, you'll remember Parkland from my description a couple weeks ago, since you seemingly was completely unaware that there was a school shooting in Florida. David Hogg is one of the survivors of that. It is, I believe, and I'm sure anybody listening will correct me at some point in the future, but his dad is former FBI, and his mom was like a CNN writer or producer or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's bred for this, literally.
Yes. And while if you're going to be a student involved in a school shooting and you want to speak up and fight for it, like, that's pretty much the guy. And the shaved head girl, she's actually better than he is, mostly because he's also a little dim-witted. As what was her name? The CNN, is it CNN or a Fox anchor that he's basically gotten fired? Laura Ingraham, who basically called him out and would be like, "You're an idiot." He got denied from like all of his colleges. He's not a bright individual. However,
he's malleable.
He's also seen shit that none of us have seen.
He doesn't need to be bright. Kids just have to follow him. And with kids, it's all about popularity. You put him everywhere, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, look at him! He's everywhere." And he's everywhere, everywhere. I don't give a fuck what state or what story is. If they're talking about the shooting, any guns, he is either him or her is on the cover story. You know, they're feeding it to you, so they're getting you used to seeing this motherfucker, man. I'm telling you, man.
Yes, but at the end of the day, we've gone through a long Easter weekend. We're now on Monday. Have you heard anything about him or Laura Ingraham today? Will we hear anything about it tomorrow? No, because the next school shooting will be in fucking 8 days, and they'll all be fucking forgotten. It's a 24-hour news cycle. You're not special. They're not. This is the way I look at it. We are conditioned to accept violence at this point.
Yeah.
He is not special.
Man, I'm telling you, they got some plans for that motherfucker, man. Him and that girl. He's just too everywhere. And at first I'm thinking like, okay, it's just the news thing, it's a popularity thing. But I'm like, nah. I know how calculated these things are. We look at it as it's just random, but I'm like, this is too calculated. Literally every time I see a headline about guns or about kids, it's him or her on there, and I'm like, yeah, they're trying to create a star, political wise.
So who were the students from the Sandy Hook shooting that we all remember?
I don't remember none of them motherfuckers.
Who were the?
But they didn't do it like this. It wasn't like this. They had a press conference. That's it. These little motherfuckers are everywhere. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. They're everywhere. Just look at all the pictures right here. You Google this motherfucker. Google somebody from Sandy Hooks. They may have one or two pictures.
Google someone from Sandy Hook.
Actually, they were saying that David Hogg was a crisis actor, which is a whole fun conspiracy that we're not touching tonight.
But I mean, they
you want to touch? You want to go down that road?
But I don't want to go down that road because I don't know enough. But I know that they show pictures of this motherfucker at these different places.
So here, I'm going to ask you guys a question, and honestly, small subset of the entire American population. Can you give me the name of any school shooter? I guarantee you could. I can give two, and that's it.
Klebold and Harris.
And that's it. That's the only ones I can think of. So why are we? And nobody from Columbine is still speaking their mind or relevant. They've moved on with their lives. This is now, what,
dude,
19 years later.
The coverage was not like this, man. This is what I'm telling you.
Do you remember when Columbine went down? I was pulled out of class. We had meetings.
But this is what I'm saying, though. There wasn't one person or two people they took and just plastered everywhere. These motherfuckers are everywhere. That's the difference, man. That's the difference in everything. These motherfuckers are everywhere.
At the end of the day, I actually appreciate the fact that it's two surviving students that are the face of this as opposed to it being the shooter.
That's what I love about you, James.
No, you posted some shit on Facebook about the shooter at Parkland getting love mail. And my firm belief is like, I'm sorry, you kill a bunch of people. Your name shouldn't be ever brought up again. The news shouldn't do it. You should be erased from the annals of history, forgotten, locked in a cage, and literally nobody cares that you ever existed.
Yeah, but like that's not how fame works.
Correct.
And America's conditioned to believe that you achieve fame however you can achieve fame. And now this is an acceptable route because it lets them push other agendas.
Well, I mean, it's been like this. I mean, who was that? Who was the fucking the killer in jail that had all the wives and shit? Motherfuckers trying to get with him. Was it Gacy? Not Gacy. No, it was
Manson.
Manson.
But that's the thing.
He didn't even actually kill anyone.
Well, you know.
Well, not when he was in charge of the Manson family. He killed people and did jail time, came out, and then had other people do it for him. But yes, he's killed people. Just not the people that he was in jail for.
Yeah. You ever seen the show called The Following?
Hell yes.
That was a good ass show.
It was fucking brilliant.
That was a good motherfucking show, man.
With Kevin Bacon?
Kevin Bacon, yeah. Kevin Bacon.
So good because it was exactly what's wrong with all. It's like how this all works. We need to stop deifying the people that do bad things. I'm okay with us deifying the people that are speaking out, these two kids.
But this is the thing. I need to understand what's going on. I think we just accept this. We accept mass shootings. We accept this. But look at and this might be a stretch or a pull, but look at Colin Kaepernick. All he didn't even do shit, but just take a knee. He didn't say nothing, didn't fuck with nobody at first, and he had been doing it for a long time. Then somebody just happened like, this nigga ain't standing up, and then they vilified him. Anybody that tries to do anything good is vilified, and fucking killers are made into celebrities. Anybody that tries to pull back the curtain on what the American society is are vilified. And anybody that just goes along with the culture, like mass shooters and killers, they're like, all right, whatever.
Based on that last statement, I 100% agree with you. The reason that Colin Kaepernick, if it was, honestly, and I'm not trying to make this a racial thing, if it was Tom Brady that had been doing that, just because his skill set, his winning level had consistently been, he's above reproach. Colin Kaepernick, he had a wound already. He came out hot. They found out how to shut him down. He had a great year and was garbage, and then all of a sudden, it can be interpreted, whether or not it's true, that what he's doing is to attract attention to himself because he's not a winning quarterback like his expectation was. If it had been literally, I can't.
You gotta look at Colin Kaepernick though. He came when the San Francisco got rid of I can't think his name anymore, but they traded their main quarterback, and then he Steve. I can't think. Well, anyway, he stepped in and he did better than anybody expected him to do. He blew up and became this dude because
running the Wildcat.
Yeah, because
and they found out how to shut it down.
Exactly. He made them change their defense because he was running that the Wildcat. You know, he could run. He was a big motherfucker, and he could kind of throw. You know what I'm saying? So he kind of took him by surprise. And I always said that. I'm like, if he could learn to throw accurately, he'd be a bad motherfucker. But he just wasn't that accurate thrower. But anyway, it wasn't even that. That's what people try to use to say, oh, well, he was just mad because. But he had been doing that for so long prior to when they seen it and blew it up. So it wasn't even a thing like he did it and made a big fuss about it. He was just doing it. Just constantly doing it, game after game, and then one time somebody seen him, and then it blew up and became this thing.
So taking that aside, we never, on any incarnation of any show I've been in, the kneeling thing during the national anthem became a fucking thing. It became a thing, whether it was Colin that started it and fine, credit him with that. But how do you feel about that? Honestly, like about privately employed individuals making political statements because they are given a public, a nationwide forum.
That's just so you don't
I'm
agree
all
with that.
for it.
You don't agree with that because that's just like you saying if I'm a privately whatever individual and I see a motherfucker getting killed, I shouldn't help them because that don't have anything to do with me.
No, I'm not taking a side on this because if I was going to take a side on this, my biggest problem is when people do the fucking this shit where it's like, why are you going to impose your religion on me?
Because that's the religion that keeps you in line. That's why, goddammit.
But how do you feel about the idea that people are using their position to make that statement? Is it any different than Fox, CNN, MSNBC? People that are given a voice, given airtime, doing whatever.
I'm all for it, man. Freedom of speech.
Yeah, but I mean, if
he's not hurting anyone.
But he had a legitimate thing that he was fighting for, and nobody gave a fuck. Everybody. This is what pisses me off, and this is what they do. Whenever you come out and you have a point, they make it about something else. Oh, well, you're disrespecting the troops. No, he ain't. What the fuck is you talking about? That don't even make any sense. You know what I'm saying? And plus, I just love how white people have made fucked up shit just things that we bow down to. The whole motherfucking national anthem is racist, you know.
So
all the shit is just fucked up. But nigga, it's that mentality that I still own you. I run you. All the NFL and the NBA is you just taking fucking big black fucking workhorses and you putting them in an arena and you watch them fight against each other. That's all it is. They just get paid so you can't call it slavery, but you see they under strict control.
They let white guys do it too. That helps.
But no, you're 100% right there, which is why I hate college sports. Period.
College sports is slavery. Now that's slavery.
It's legit.
That's the
slavery.
legit slavery. I hope they bring that shit. I hope they bring it down. Joe, this is how bogus they were. They stopped making the video games because they didn't want to pay them. They using their likeness and their name, and all they said is, "Well, we need some residuals." Nope, fuck it, game's done. That's how fucked up they are.
So I'm gonna assume, because this works in, and you've just got my brain thinking, that neither of you watch John Oliver.
Yeah, I watch clips. I don't watch.
Did you watch his show last night?
Not yet. It's on my DVR.
Okay, so did you, Bear, watch his show maybe a year or so ago when he talked about the Sinclair Media Group and how they're buying up all these local television stations around
Yeah.
the country and having them deliver?
The same narrative.
So this went viral in the last day or so, and it's
I'll get them
the
bring it up.
most fucking. It's heartbreaking. I mean, some people feel like it's fucked up. For me, this is heartbreaking because local news you associate with being just like, hey, a bunch of, it's not supposed to be much, but then this happens.
Yeah, I watched that today.
And I know that this has gone like uber viral. Oh my God. Play the video, goddammit.
Yeah, when I seen it, it was like at 12 million. It had just came out today or yesterday. 12
Yesterday,
million.
it came out yesterday, but it was some that
But guess what though? Ain't nobody gonna do nothing. We just gonna sit here and let it happen. What can you possibly do? Because when you come out and say, well, you're doing something to us, they're like, no, we're not. Oh, okay. That's how it goes every single time. We like this don't seem right.
no, for
It's
due
right.
credit, I'll play the John Oliver bit. Wow. Oh, this is
It's mostly known for informative and hard-hitting segments like this one. Police say one of the mass suspects are
fuck.
Why is the audio like that?
Because the computer here is terrible.
That's the old one. I've seen this one. Unless he's referencing the first time they talked about it. Oh, I can't do that. That's hard
Yeah,
to listen
I'm
to.
killing that. I'm killing it. So yeah, that was the first time. So if anybody, I digress. Basically, they found proof in the pudding where they found like something to the neighborhood of like 35 different local news stations delivering the exact same script about fake news. And it's like, isn't this kind of fake news?
That is some straight up propaganda shit.
Yeah, and you know.
I would like to point out that we got here talking about boozy axe throwing.
We just ran down a rabbit hole.
The worst sex in the world is anglerfish sex.
What?
I'm going to turn the tables here a little. Did you guys see this video?
No.
Oh, this is the best video ever.
Here we go. Some bullshit. I know if James says good, it's some fucked up shit.
Oh, that's a scary visual just
So
seeing
you
that
guys
fish.
know
Is
what
that, is that the one with the light on his head?
Yeah,
Okay.
that lures you in. And so somebody at about like 1,000 feet found them mating, and it had never been recorded before. I'm going to keep the audio down because we've already discovered the audio's garbage.
Nature is crazy.
Now, so the female anglerfish is the large one. And this isn't
Yeah.
this isn't even the
it looks like a fish porn the way it's shot, don't it? Close ups and shit,
but
slow
this,
motion.
This ain't even this. Here you go. New sex tape shows
Oh,
never
but-
before seen.
I like it. That seemed like that was a production put to make that movie.
Right? Like a 70s sci-fi?
Yeah.
So, what you're seeing here is all these little tentacles that it's got,
Oh shit.
which they had never seen, and they had put light on it. Now, there is a male anglerfish in this frame.
Oh, they like
What is it
Connected.
inside of her?
Kinda. They're kinda linked forever. So that's
Oh,
the
really?
female. The big ugly thing. There's the guy.
This dude.
He's the
What, he's sucking on a titty?
little guy down at the
Sucking
bottom.
on a tentacle. Get some of that tentacle, baby.
Wow.
He's actually, at least if I heard it correctly, he's kind of there and will die there.
Oh,
Is there any pussy you would die for?
nah, I ain't gonna
Like,
die.
if I come in that pussy,
no.
I'd be okay with that being the last cum.
Like, if that was a thing, like, I'd do it when I'm like the last time I know my dick gonna get hard. I'm like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm gonna fuck this bitch and die.
But is there a pussy that you'd be like, if I could come in that, I'd be happy dying
Hell
with
no.
my cum in that?
No.
Nah. Wow, who you got, James? Who you got? I can see why you look
Charlize Theron.
at
If I could plant my seed in that, I'd die a happy man.
For
if
sure.
I
I
died,
watched Atomic Blonde yesterday. Like,
I haven't
did it.
seen it yet.
It's on HBO.
I nobody will like let me be alone while I watch it with my penis in my hand.
I don't really like women that are like in the spotlight, like people that's like, oh, I love her, boo, boo, boo. Like, nah. I really that turns me off when they're like out there and everybody wants them. I'm like, yeah.
Well, I'm 100% sure that if I was ever given the chance, I wouldn't be able to get it up. I'd be too intimidated by the fact that it's like,
You
you're
intimidated by pussy? Get the fuck out of here.
seriously.
Yeah. Fuck out of here, man. Ain't nothing
There-
but pussy.
there-
It's the same. She got the same pussy as a homeless bitch out there on the street got.
No, every
Yeah.
pussy is unique and beautiful.
Okay. First of all, ain't no pussy beautiful. It's all ugly. All pussies are ugly.
damn it! I will argue this. I will argue this to the day I die. There is yet to be a pair of boobs that give me a hard on, but you give me a nice fat fucking labia majora. Holy shit! Do I come to attention?
The idea of pussy is beautiful. The visual of it is not.
No, I'm a fan. But I also like abstract art and roast beef. So, like,
Get that one.
tell me I'm wrong. You can't.
I'm an ass man. I'd rather show me a picture of your butt. Like, I do like the way when she has the gap and you can see like the pussy hanging down from between the butt cheeks. I do like that visual. But like just laying down, pussy. Sorry, whatever.
In most cases, like until I see the vagina, I'm not at full attention.
Oh no.
A fat ass doesn't do it for me.
Oh my god, just
Love
Why?
that ass.
I do too. I like a nice
I
ass,
don't
but
know,
you know what?
man.
It's not going to keep it at attention.
Is there any science on that? Like, why do dudes like ass? It has to be some study to it, because that shit is just. I don't know.
I think because for so long it was taboo that it's like forbidden fruit. Like,
I mean,
even though that it's
taboo
not
for white
taboo
dudes.
now.
I mean, niggas always love ass. That was just what we do.
Everyone
You know.
loves ass.
Yeah.
I like how I typed in, why do guys like ass? And the second is eating ass, a guide for the straight man.
So what, is eating ass a gay thing and it just became a straight thing?
Oh, wait, hold on. We got to go back to headlines. We got some good headlines on the matter. Here it is, the next one. Bud sex. Casual gay sex among straight men is more common than you'd think.
Joe, yes it is. Go to Tumblr. Nigga, if you ever want to see the the sewer of society, go to Tumblr, Joe. I'm telling you, that shit be blowing my motherfucking mind on Tumblr, man. I'm telling you. And I just be cruising. I just be looking through shit, and I just start tapping shit, Joe. And I just be... I seen some shit on Tumblr. It was this girl. Her tongue was about that long out her mouth. She took it, wrapped it around the dude's dick, and jerked him off like that. I said, I want that for myself. That shit was amazing.
What does it take for you to have any kind of insertion with another male friend? I assume we're all straight here. I make that assumption.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't like the male body.
Nothing about anything in this
Yeah.
room is going to get me erect.
Like, and don't get me wrong, I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh fuck it. I can appreciate the male body, but like I don't want that. Like I like the way a woman feels. A woman and a man feels differently. You know what I'm saying?
So if you took any physical contact out of the equation, other than whatever your penis feels, what does a woman offer? Is their mouth different?
Yeah, I'm assuming. I don't know. It's just I think it's just the idea, man. It's just the thought of it. You know, just like I don't know. It's just I just can't see. But don't get me wrong. I understand the concept of dudes fucking. Like I'm not gonna be ignorant about the thing. Like I get it. Motherfuckers will put their dick in a hole and fuck it and be like, I just wanted to bust a fucking nut. I get that. Sexuality is a spectrum. My whole thing is just like gay comes when you love a man. I think it's the affection and like when I see motherfuckers kissing and hugging, I'm like, oh yeah, you gay.
And we've had that.
Yeah, we've had that talk.
We've done that like episode
but I also
3.
do. I believe that there are guys that they like to get penetrated. It's just what they into. You know what I'm saying? It's some motherfuckers like tomatoes, some don't. And I don't think it's a gay thing, but you know, to each his own. Like I don't want to find out.
So how far would you go to get it off?
To get what off?
To get off.
How far would I go to get off? I'm not going that far. I'm not going past pussy and hand. Ass, a woman ass. Men ass is just nasty, goddammit. As soon as I take a shower, I'm out the shower. 5 minutes later, my ass stank, goddammit. Women ass just, I never smelt a woman's ass that smelled bad. Never. I don't know if they just clean it real well for they around me, but it smells just like the rest of her body.
Bear.
I mean, I'm pro ass.
I mean, ass is the most nondescript. It's just a hole.
My problem.
It's not
with,
the
like,
hole. It's the booty. The booty. Let's say booty. Ass is just ass.
I've seen some guys with great asses.
Like
Huh?
I'm sure
That
that,
shit makes me
like
uncomfortable, Joe.
I'm sure. See, that's one of the reasons I don't use a glory hole is because there could be anything on the other side of that glory hole, and it could be amazing for all I know.
Yeah. It's just
But
a
at the
warm
end
hole.
of the day, like I can look at 1,000 pictures of 1,000 different naked dudes, and none of them are going to give me an erection. So therefore, looking at my
Wasn't that-
retarded, ugly friends, none of like, there's nothing about Jake Hamill on a Saturday afternoon that gives me wood.
What if you seen two gay dudes, or not gay, two dudes having sex? Do you think the sexual act would arouse you?
No.
Because I mean, that's not like a I'm gay. That's just it's a sexual act in your mind and knows that it's a sexual act, and it's like, I don't know, we finna fuck, but
Can you guys get off to straight female solo?
no, I don't.
Yes.
I can, but I don't like solo, and I don't like girl on girl.
Sometimes I prefer it.
Nah, let me not lie. They gotta have some really big butts, and they gotta be a strap on. It gotta be a dick in the mix somewhere. Got to be a dick in the mix.
This is what I'm saying. Is like, I think the most of us are kind of a little gay.
That's what I say. Yeah, everybody's a little gay. Like I appreciate big ass dicks in porn. Like I don't want to watch little dick porn. I'm like, why they got this motherfucker in here? What are these big
She
monsters?
cannot be that excited over that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, cause you're looking at the fantasy. I don't want the reality, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I was like, I want a motherfucker with a 10-inch fucking tree trunk thick dick and fucking some bitch.
And I can totally get down with the girl doing 25 minutes solo, as long as I see fucking jaws come in, like you see like the head come in and the side, that like the shaft just, you're like, when does it end? And then the guy follows and just buries it, and it's like, you got to be able to put yourself there. I used to get down with lesbian porn like when I was young, because it was just like, oh, a bunch of girls, like, hey, more pussy, more boobs, more better. No, you can't put yourself there. I gotta have some that can like be like, yeah, that's my dick. That's why. That's why, like, POV shit, I'm almost okay with it. I haven't quite.
Some of
crossed
it is.
the line.
I've seen some that's like, yeah, but the other, I'm not fully convinced I like it. I've seen some that I like.
There's a few that are
yeah.
great, but most of it is just like, you're just looking at it. Especially the ones where it's the girl like talking to you, the viewer.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
weird.
I
That's
don't do
weird.
that. Where it's just like, I ain't there.
I mean, some people get up. This is why I tell motherfuckers, people, everyone has fetishes and things that they're into, man. Like, I don't understand fisting. I don't understand it. I seen some shit on Tumblr.
Fisting.
To insert
There's a lot of
fist
different
into
kinds
an
of.
anus or a vagina.
And if you put a fist in any orifice that's used for sex, I don't understand that. And I was watching on Tumblr again. It was a girl. She just sit. It started out with it was just a close up of her reading a book, sitting on the couch, and it just panned out, and she's sitting there, no pants on, and dude just in her vagina. I'm like, oh my god, why is that appealing? First of all, you have to stretch yourself out to even make that possible. Because I mean, he was just probably going about half forearm inch, and she ain't even flinching. I'm like, this bitch is dead on the inside. I couldn't believe that, but that's motherfuckers be fisting people. Joe, I seen the motherfucker sit on a dildo. I swear to God, it was big as my body,
Oh yeah, I've
Big as
seen
my
that
body.
shit.
up his ass. I'm like, wow, because you have to make your shit that wide to be able to accept that. So you're prepared to do that shit.
But have you ever taken anything into your ass?
No,
Why?
a tongue.
Okay.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
So,
Anything a woman does to me, I'm fine. Just don't break the plane.
wait, break the plane.
Don't break the plane.
What's the plane?
The plane is the hole. You can't, like the Twizzler. You can't get inside the Twizzler. You can get on the outside of the Twizzler.
You don't want him to go past the balloon knot?
I ain't gonna trip if they fucking make their tongue erect and try to stick it in there. I don't give a fuck. But just don't put a finger in there. Don't put nothing with no bones in that motherfucker.
Why not?
Because I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't think I like it.
But
I'll say I
you
don't think I like
Hey,
it.
wait. Have you ever done mushrooms?
Yeah, you remember I told you I did, but it didn't really fuck with it. It just made me anxious and up
Did you
on
poop while you were on mushrooms?
Nah.
Would you ever try mushrooms again?
Yeah.
The next time you try mushrooms, drop a deuce, like 2-3 hours in. And once you understand how amazing that moment is,
Nah, because
You'll
that's a
consider it.
normal
You'll
thing I
consider
do
it.
all the time. I mean, every time I take a shit, it feels good because I'm relieving myself, you know. But me thinking the shit feels good going out ain't gonna make me think. Well, I wonder how it feels going in.
No, honestly, in the male physiology, we actually have an erogenous zone that can only be accessed by going in through the outdoor.
Hey, I never found this shit out. I know. I read about it. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't knock motherfuckers that do it, but I'm not. It's just like this. That's just like, hey, why don't you try meth?
Yeah, and I read a book that said don't look at the sun. I still looked at the sun.
Exactly. I've not been there. I think it's just certain avenues you don't go down. Like if you're curious about it, by all means, go down that avenue. But I'm not curious about it. I don't give a fuck about how it feels. I don't care. So
And and I'll tell you, amazing.
well, yeah, you already talked about you get pegged and shit. It's like I say, like, and I wouldn't say you gay because anything you do with a woman, I don't think is gay. And I don't think a motherfucker getting something put in their ass is gay. I'm not. That's ignorant to think that. That's just an ignorant idea that people have. Like, oh, if you get fucked in the ass, you gay. I'm like, nah. It's just some motherfuckers like shit in their ass.
You ever kissed a dude?
Fuck no. I'll fuck a dude before I kiss him. Hell no.
that's intriguing.
I would fuck a dude before I kiss. That's what I told you. That's gay to me. Like you kiss a motherfucker if you a loving person. If you like sensual with them, that's gay. I'd fuck a nigga before I kiss him.
I guess I might be gay then. But, in high school, like there was a lot of gay chicken, if you will. And we were fucked up on prom night, and I kissed my buddy Luke for like a solid 5 seconds. Like I didn't French him or anything. Like you know what I mean? I didn't grab his Johnson or anything crazy like that. But I was like,
Was it like a smooch, nigga?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, nigga, you is gay.
I mean,
Oh, that's you feel his mustache and everything. His chin all strong and shit. Hell no. I can't do it, Joe. I can't do it, Joe.
I've legitimately made out with a dude.
Oh no.
Okay, so I have two stories here.
There we
One was just me and a guy that were like, we're never gonna back down from a challenge kind of situation. And I looked at him, we both had some drinks in us, and I was just like, you put your tongue out, and he did the same, and it was one of those like, who's gonna back off first, and then our tongues hit, and we're like, oh shit, we done gone too far. That notwithstanding, there was actually a situation where it was far more genuine, where a guy that I know to be very gay, I had a connection and I had enough. I'm not going to chalk this up to being drunk. I had enough drinks in me that I was more pure in my emotion. And it was, hey, a girl drops you off. You spend a night hanging with a girl, a little peck. Ain't no thing, right? And it was the same thing, except it was a dude. And trust me, it took me like a month to reconcile the fact that I had literally been like, I had a great night with this guy, and I literally kissed him at the end of the night. It fucked with me bad. I don't regret it because I can see where that came from. But, hey,
Where did it come from?
I don't know. It was just sort of like, hey, man, good night.
So
And
have
it
you
was
ever
just
had a
like,
sexual experience with a dude?
No, I've never had a dude below the shoulders. Like, no guy has ever...
Oh,
I've never
didn't
had
even-
an experience below the shoulders. Like, I've described the 2 mouth experiences, and none of them involved anything below the shoulders.
That might-
It wasn't
that-
like,
that-
there was this
see-
penis there, and I just couldn't help but put my mouth on
But y'all
it.
gotta understand,
Didn't
I'm from the
have-
hood too, man. You know, niggas is homophobic in the hood, so that shit just ain't flying. We don't even like. Do you kiss your father in the mouth? Like, do your father kiss you like on the lips?
No, maybe when I was like 5
Because
or
I mean, even
less.
because even in most black communities, you just don't kiss on the lips unless it's sexual. Like your mother, your father, you don't kiss. Your mother kisses you on the cheek. Father don't kiss you at all. You know what I'm saying? Maybe on the cheek or some shit like that. Maybe hug you, but it's not.
So how do you feel about the like, sort of the international, especially in Europe, where you side cheek?
Well, if it's a customary thing, yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
but that's like how I interact with most, at least most females, is like not like you kiss them, but you sort of on the side.
No, I don't kiss.
Would you
bitches.
do that
I don't
with a
kiss women
dude?
I'm not about to fuck. I don't kiss women that I don't kiss them on their cheek. I'll hug them, but I'm not putting my lips on you unless I know I'm finna fuck you. That's just my rule. So,
That's fascinating.
and y'all some homosexuals. Okay, keep going.
Woman makes bizarre pubic hair dress with crotch donations from strangers. Would you like to see pictures?
Please.
I got $1.
Are you
Says it's
sure?
Mina. Just looks like a multicolored Brillo pad.
Kinda. You're not wrong.
Bitch look like she got on earwax.
Now, when I read this headline and I saw this
That
picture,
is crazy
that- this
long
is
pubic
like,
hair.
right.
Like, look at that spiral, man. That's like a soft serve ice cream cone of pubic hair.
Is that can't be pubic hair, Joe?
Look at that.
What fucking Bigfoot bitch they got that from?
That's from like a dude in a first world country. She's not American.
Yeah, she's not. She's fine though. She's nice. She's nice looking.
That's some decent cleavage.
Is she the one that made it, or she wore it out?
It's hers. She made it. She made it for her.
Oh, you know, man. I don't know what's going on with people.
I don't know either.
What the hell? James just left.
I mean, I think he had to pee.
That motherfucker got to piss drink
So,
on
like-
goddamn beers.
So you're at the club, and this bitch looking this good strolls up on you like, "Hey, daddy,
Nah.
let me back it up on you." But it's dark, so you don't see it yet. And then all of a sudden, you go to smack her ass, and you realize you're just grabbing a million people's
Nah,
nut
dude.
hair.
I'm weird about shit like that, man. I ain't the type of dude that could just fuck anything under any circumstances. I wouldn't be it. Nah, if I see her in this dress, Joe, I'd roast her for it. That's what I do. That would just completely turn me off, Joe. Yeah. I mean, she fine, like, but nah. That freaked me out, Joe. Like, nope.
Would it freak you out after you knew what it was?
No, it would freak me out before because that just looks weird. It looks like a bunch of hair. I don't care what kind of hair it looks like. What kind of hair it is, I know it looks like hair. So I'm like, you a weird motherfucker. So no. And it's like she wore. I understand that this is like for a display, a show, something. But if you're just wearing this out for the fuck of it, then you got a goddamn problem.
Fair enough. I can't argue that. She's got a nice set.
Yeah, she's a nice looking lady. Very nice looking woman. Very
They
attractive
look
woman.
good here, but not here.
Right. She pushed them a little together.
Right?
Yeah, well, you see her arms are like kind of like.
Yeah.
Like that. She's like kind of, yeah.
Push them a little together.
What that ass looking like? That ass flat as it want to
Because
be.
her
over there.
head looks a little like her face doesn't look as on point here either. This one's been touched up.
Yeah, you're right. Her skin looks a lot smoother.
Is this the same chick?
I think so.
She's actually kind of pretty there.
No, she cute.
I don't think that's her.
I think that's her. She's just red, or maybe.
Oh, she looks like a crazy redhead. This is my jam.
I want me a redhead so bad, man.
I married one. It was ape shit.
I know that's what I like. I like crazy motherfuckers.
All right, what's the next one?
Yeah,
I know. Nope. Because I don't want to have to describe that last one.
Yeah, because I was gonna need something.
Japanese mom pulls plug on son's tuition because he likes porn games. Now, we described this. Were you here for that one? Who? Oh, you weren't here for the Japanese
Oh yeah, the guy
kids?
that married his video game or whatever.
That's a whole thing in Japan, is that they find love in video games.
Oh yeah,
You're just like, yeah, that's the thing.
because let's be honest about Japanese people. They are the most they aren't fun. They aren't fun. They aren't funny. It's like they're just walking around and nothing's going on, man. Like, of course. How do you, Japanese men, how do you have any game as a Japanese man trying to get a Japanese woman? So you fuck video games. Like, because
Apparently,
we did.
it's such an epidemic though that like something between the ages of like 18 and 35, 47% of Japanese women are virgins.
Because we aren't teaching men how to go out and acquire women. And I think there's a very important trait that we need to start teaching men. How to go out and approach women. Stop telling them this bullshit like, oh, just be nice to a woman and be chivalrous and be a gentleman. No, nigga, get you some money. Get you some money, get you something that is going to entice a woman, and that's how you get a woman and be able to talk to her, have a personality, be funny, do something. But we sending dudes out there and we give them this false information about how to talk to women, and they're going out there and they're trying, and they're getting shot the fuck down, and they're becoming jaded, and they start to hate women, and then they start to fuck each other.
But how do you marry that with our earlier dialogue about how Japanese mindfulness of being aware of enough of another person to leave them be?
Nah, I don't think those two don't correlate because of the mindfulness.
You don't
being,
think so?
Nah, I think this is a sexual thing, dude. Let me tell you,
Isn't that the-
men are definitely afraid of women, man. They are definitely, especially when you don't know what you're doing. Definitely afraid. So a lot of dudes would rather jerk off or fuck a robot than go try to get some real pussy. And I think that's what. And these dudes, and look at Japanese dudes. Come on, man. Like, I can appreciate a dude. Like, if I see a white, like, you see, okay, let's say, like, Chris Hemsworth or fucking Channing Tatum. I like a good-looking white dude. Tell me a Japanese
Channing Tatum
motherfucker.
is the best looking person with Down syndrome ever.
Tell me one Japanese dude that's like, hey, whatever.
No, you did post something to your Facebook like a couple
Where's
weeks
Jet Li
ago.
from?
That was the most brilliant thing. It was just like, you want to see an Asian girl get fucked? Yeah. You want to see an Asian man get fucked? Yeah. You just don't want to see an Asian man fuck an Asian
woman.
girl.
You don't.
You're absolutely right. It's not interesting. It's not arousing. That notwithstanding, this is about understanding, like, the Japanese culture tends to be about, hey, individual liberty. Do whatever the fuck you want. I ain't gonna fuck with that. You want to leave your bike unlocked there? I ain't gonna fuck with that. That's utopia.
No, man, no. But you're talking about two. This is a sexual thing, man. And I'm telling you, it's the fact that these dudes don't know how to go out and get pussy, and so they play these fucking video games because we know that's the big thing over there. And they've made it to where they live their fantasies through their video games. We did the one. Well, I would say the one time we did where you can make the sex person in the game and you can fuck them in the game. But that's just. I'm telling you, I study the Asian culture. These motherfuckers are freaks. They do the freakiest fucking shit behind closed doors because they're made to be so it's like American culture on 1,000 out there to where you have to have this look in public and you do all this crazy shit behind closed doors.
Correct, but that's no different. Like, do any of us Americans walk around? I do some weird fucking shit behind closed doors. Do I carry that with me in my day to day? What's the fucking difference?
But this is the thing. It's when you hide it. It's one thing to just say I'm private, this behind closed doors. But if mother come to you say, hey, you do this? No, I don't do this. It's some of that stuff. If people find out, it will ruin your life. And I don't think it should, but that's just how we are. You know what I'm saying? If a motherfucker find out you do, like, okay, let's say if I say I'm straight and the motherfucker find out, okay, I fucked the dude. That will ruin my life. You know, that will ruin me.
Would it?
Why would it ruin you?
In the eyes of the people I know, you gotta understand, I know hood black niggas. You know what I'm saying? It's a totally different thing. White dudes are a lot more accepting of shit than niggas are.
Fucking Norquist is outside. I kind of want to have him in here in third mic.
I'm telling you, man, it's a different perception that we coming from, and it's just I don't like. I want everybody to be able to say this is what I do, accept me for who I am. But we don't live in a society like that, man. You're judged off of everything you do, so that's why you do so much shit behind closed doors, and you can't be truthful about it, and you should be.
But isn't that what's exciting about doing this weird shit?
It's the taboo of it. Yes. That makes it exciting.
Have you ever seen the Taboo movies from the 70s? Mm-mm. Okay, next episode.
But no, I've watched this shit. Like, I used to watch, like, real sex and all that shit. Because, you know, sexuality intrigues me. So I like to see because there's so much to it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to be ignorant about it. Like I said, I come from the hood where motherfuckers are homophobic. And, you know what I'm saying? I do a whole joke about how being a black dude from the hood is just a whole lot of not doing gay shit. That's all it is, you know? So I try to have an open mind and not be ignorant about the shit. But it's I don't know. It gets pretty dark.
You carry with you a stereotype, which is black people are genuinely, almost vehemently against gay shit.
This is what
That's
it is.
where the term "no homo" comes from.
Yeah, this is what it is though, because and this a lot of people don't. And it's because it's attached to the church, because the church hates homosexuality, and they hammered fucking white Jesus into slaves' heads so fucking hard that they are not going. Nigga, motherfuckers hate me now because you see my jokes about white Jesus. Like, I got motherfuckers I've been doing forever.
It's if you're listening and you do not follow Armstrong on Facebook, it's the best thing. Like, I have to sit there and like restrain myself from not being like, what the fuck? But it's great.
But like, literally, I got motherfuckers won't talk to me no more. I have motherfuckers cuss me out, Joe, because that shit is so ingrained in black people. It is ridiculous, man. They beat that Bible into motherfucker. You know, they wouldn't let you read.
So you
books.
think it seriously comes from basically like Baptists? Because it's Baptists mostly, from a religious perspective, is John the Baptist and the Baptist Church.
Sure, why not?
It's a thing that's not accepted in the religion that black people practice, so they go against it hard. And black women hate to hear that black men are gay. It's weird because black women like gay dudes. But
because they're sassy.
Yeah, it's like if a black woman sees a gay dude that's obviously gay, they're like, okay, he gay. But it's like when they see a dude that's masculine and he's gay, they hate that shit. Black women hate homosexuality when it's not an obvious thing.
So when a fucking like defensive lineman for a football team comes out and be like, yep, I'm down with the dick. Like, that's the problem.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling
you. Because it's like a strong black male that's now off the market? Is there like a shortage, y'all, or something?
He didn't go for a fucking fat blonde chick. He went for another dick.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Get out of your playbook here.
I'm telling you, man. What I believe is the reason why it's hated so much is because it's attached to the church, and that shit. I'm telling you, man. It's a lot easier for a white dude to come out of the closet than it is for a black dude. And it's funny because it's a lot of gay thugs. There's a lot of gay thug motherfuckers, man. And you know, I got a homegirl who lives next to these transsexuals, two of them, right? And they used to tell us all the time, I used to go over to my girl house and shit. We sit there and talk to them. And they're like, yeah, like we fuck like all the dope dealers in the motherfucking in the neighborhood. And they tell us, like, you tell anybody, we'll kill you. So it's a lot. It goes on in the black community, but it's just one of those things where it's hidden because they want to do it, but it's so villainized that they will literally kill a motherfucker to keep that secret, and that's real shit.
God damn. I don't know how, because one of my very closest friends in college came out, black guy, and now he's fucking a beast now. Like, he could fucking kick the shit out of me at this point. Not so much at the time I met him, but it's like, I could tell, like, it's an internal struggle. He grew up in Brooklyn, and he would never have been down with that.
I wrote a whole like 5-6 minute set on just homosexuality, and I make it uncomfortable as I can, you know. So I talk about like I would fuck a dude if I had to. Like if a dude came here, put a gun to my head, it's like fuck James. I'm like, well, James, I gotta fuck you because you know my life's on the line.
Hey, you know what? If you're placed in that scenario, I'd probably be one of the more interested of your straight friends.
But for real, but I had a dude come out the closet, man, and one of my buddies, and I've known for a long time and shit, and he was like, he hated himself because of that. He hated himself because, and that's what made me realize that being gay is not a choice. It's just some shit you feel. It's who you are. Because if you could just not be that and you hate yourself for it, because I mean, he went through a lot of motherfucking shit, like a lot of mental shit, to where he was breaking down because he really hated the fact that he was gay. He didn't want to be gay, but he was gay. He's like, I'm aroused by dudes. I like dudes. It is what it is. And he hated himself for a long time, man. It took a long time for him to come to terms with it. So that's why I try to be, you know, open-minded about the shit, because I don't like to. I want everybody to live their life as happy as they can. You know what I'm saying? As long as you don't fuck with my shit, do whatever makes you happy. You know, but a lot of times, like, you know, they tell you to be who you are and to think outside the box, but you got to understand society is constantly trying to put you in a box. Oh, you a black man, you go in this box. You a white female, you in this box. And you got to fight to get outside that. And the thing about it is the rest of society fights to help society keep you in that box, you know? So.
Can't argue that. Florida woman mistakes 37-week pregnancy for bad Chinese food.
Same thing.
Wow. 37 weeks. That's like full term, isn't it? Isn't that 9 months? So she had a baby that she blamed on bad Chinese food.
That's some fucking awful.
That's
General Tso's chicken. Jesus.
Yeah, that baby should have been born. That's 9 months, 1 week, ain't it? 9 times 4 is 36, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. That's the fucking 9 month plus a week pregnancy. Oh, that last week was because of that fucking Kung Pao chicken.
So yo shit's hurt for 37 weeks.
How fat do you have to be to not realize that you're pregnant? And what about your period?
Well,
I've never been a woman.
Some women can have
but,
their
like,
period
I've lived
through
with
their
women.
through a pregnancy. It's weird, but it can happen. But this is ridiculous. This is
Was it the same Chinese food? Like just this one night she ate off the menu and it's been haunting her for 9 months?
They ain't got Pepto-Bismol in
does she
Florida. This
keep-
bitch didn't take nothing. She didn't.
Does she keep going back to the same Chinese restaurant? Like, what in the fuck?
She kept going back like, that last stuff hurt my stomach. Give me something different. Just take it home. And
I absolutely think that Bear's right on this. It's like she went there every Friday out of habit, and it was just like, didn't know a thing. Like, she was just like, oh, on week 36, it was bad. I was just fat because I was eating all this Chinese food.
hey,
What the shit?
dude, people
Shit is
are-
crazy.
People are weird, man. Ridiculously weird. Go. What happened?
Landmark ruling. A woman is sent to prison in South Africa for using racial epithet.
Was she white or black?
I feel like this should have been a guess the race. I believe she was white, actually.
Hey, Joe, I'm glad you kind of brought this up because I wanted to say something about this anyway. I don't know what's going on in the world. You hear they talking about giving black people reparations. Like it's a real talk they're having. Like the United Nations ruled that America owes black people reparations. and like I think some of the
Yeah, but
island
who's going to enforce it?
Trump is now talking about it. The Trump administration is talking about it to get votes. I read that article, but like a lot of the island countries, because I mean they got like destroyed during slavery because they was used as ports and shit. They're suing to get reparations. And what people need to understand about the reason why reparations is such a big thing is because that's how the Jews became so powerful. The way they oppressed black people, they took the blueprint from Jews to what they tried to do to Jews. The only thing about Jews is Jews had a much more tight-knit community. So when they were trying to just like deprive them of resources and stuff, they could rely on themselves.
Hold on.
And they gave the Jews. Hold on, you talking to me?
No, continue. I'll pick up in here.
And the Jews, they gave them reparations. They gave them land and they gave them money. And from that's how they came so powerful behind closed doors. And so when they went to and the whole concept of ghettos came from Jewish people. And so when they put niggas in ghettos, they knew like, well, we can't do this and we can't do that or they'll thrive. So they took the blueprint from what happened with the Jews to know how to oppress the black man a lot better. Go ahead.
The last part of what you said there, I absolutely believe to be true. To assume that the reparations that we paid to the Jewish people is something that came first is no. We didn't pay Jews any reparation until 1947.
Okay.
After we had promised black slaves their reparations in 1867,
Yeah.
I think. Ballpark. There's a reason people hate Jews.
Why is that?
Because they're very good at working up, I'm going to sound so fucking
Come on, let's get
Hitlerish.
anti-Semitic right quick. Come on.
Okay, fine. Anti-Semitic statement begins now. The Jews were able to see shit on the horizon and took control of things that, other people wanted a control of. Jewels would be the most notorious. They were in and down with jewelry, precious metals, precious gems, therefore, and then took over the banks. Rothschild, that doesn't sound too non-Jewish. Hitler got upset. Bunch of Jews run the shit. He gets upset. It becomes a Nazi thing, right? Mm-hmm. So the fact of the matter is that a disproportionate number of Jewish people are in control of things of great power. So you can draw this as a stereotype. Right?
So what you're saying is that they don't like the Jews because they did the same thing the white people did.
They did it better.
Okay. Yeah. That's what somebody told me. They was up there like people were jealous of Jews, and that's literally how everything came about with the whole Holocaust. It was jealousy at its base that they were able to thrive in a time to where other people weren't thriving.
The other interesting thing, and this is, I'm sure I'll get buried for this, but my biggest issue is, and this goes back like 15, 20 years, is like people don't understand that Jewish is not only a religion, it's also a race.
I thought it wasn't a race. I thought
it's 100% a race.
It is?
The Israelites are a race. It is 100% a race.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily, not every Jewish person is a racial Jew. But every racial Jew is a Jewish person.
Yeah. Well, I know how they are very, very concerned with keeping it Jewish, because I've met Jewish girls that I've talked to and wanted to fuck. They wanted to fuck me, but they was up like, I can't do this. Like, you have to be Jewish for me to consider fucking with you like this.
Which is weird because it's usually that as a Jewish female, like I forget who the comic was that had a great joke, but he was just like, is your mother's vagina Jewish? Because if your mom's vagina is Jewish, you're Jewish. Mm-hmm. And so, like, if you ever watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding, or I think it was that, but it's like literally a Jewish male has no value. They want every Jewish male to marry a Jewish woman because that will produce another Jew.
Yeah.
Jewish females are like, whatever comes out of you is a Jew.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm shortening the term and it sounds racial, but there's enough Jewish in my universe that it's like, yeah. If it's
Well, yeah, you got black Jews. So,
the black Israelites.
yeah.
I'm just saying it's very interesting because certain stereotypes do hold true.
Yeah, stereotypes are around for a fucking reason, man. It is what it is.
Right, they're based in a reality.
Yeah, they're based in reality. It's just when you say all, that's the fucked up part about it. And people don't have the ability to deduce that I'm not talking in totality. I'm just saying that an unproportionate amount of motherfuckers do this in this race. That's all it is.
I think we've gone through it all except for this one.
All right, so tell us about this, James, since you saved this for the end. What we at? What time we at?
We got 20 minutes.
We got a little time.
Bear, what do you know about false flag operations?
Like, which ones can I verify, or do you want, like, the
No.
broad definition?
Broad definition.
Yeah, give me definitely because I don't know what it is. Because I have an idea, but I don't know.
So
exactly.
a false flag operation is when the government or someone in power says, "Ooh, look at this. We're gonna do this over here,"
Okay.
or like, "Ooh, see what happened over here? This is why we're gonna do this."
It is fundamental. Yep.
Is that fundamentally
Yeah,
accurate?
it's attributing what happened to something else.
Give me a more concrete example.
Okay, Gulf of Tonkin in Vietnam.
Isn't that what started?
Correct. And some 50-ish or less than years later, we learned that the Gulf of Tonkin incident
It didn't
never
happen.
really happened.
Never happened. Yeah.
False flag operation. We attributed an event to something to motivate another thing.
And I actually watched this, and it was on a conspiracy thing, but it's stuff that's you can prove. You can go. It's in history. Pretty much every major war was attributed to something like this, and it actually was one thing. I can't remember what war it was, but it was on a record to where someone was like, "Hey, if a ship just disappeared out the ocean, what would happen? Oh, well, we had to go to war, and then." Some ship just disappeared, or it got bombed by some country.
Archduke Ferdinand, starting World War I, has not yet been fully attributed, but one thing that started a 27-country war. Is that something that continues to this day?
Definitely.
How? What do you see today
It's
as a false flag?
well, this is what they do, and this is what kind of pisses me off about the American people is that they create a need for the people to have to come to the government for help, and I think all of those are false flag operations to where it's like we're gonna let this happen so we can do this so they can come because this is what you need to understand is that they can't really they can but they're not gonna make you revolt, so they're not gonna come to you and say, hey, give me this or we're going to do this. What they do is they make it a need. They create fear inside of you to say, hey, this is going on. You know, so just like 9/11. Now all the Muslims are bad. Now we can get rid of immigrants. We can build walls. We can do all this because now you've made us scared of immigrants. So now we can just have ICE come take immigrants. We can take motherfuckers that were here since they fought in all the wars and they getting deported and they're fucking veterans of wars of America and they're getting deported, and it's like I said, but now it makes you feel safe because now if they would have did it before then, it would have been like, well, why are you doing that? They really ain't done nothing. So now you do something that's so unthinkable. Now you make the common person scared. Now it's like, oh, we can do what the fuck we wanted to do in the first place now. So I think that's the biggest thing of false flag operations is just they do stuff to make the American people afraid, or they make the American people come to them and say, hey, we need your help, and then they're like, okay, well, we wanted to do this anyway, so we'll just do this now.
But is it just the American people?
No, but I only talk about America because this is where we at. But
No.
it's a country. I mean, it's a worldwide thing, man. You have people in power, dude, that can watch things unfold on a level that we'll never be privileged to. They see governments form and deteriorate, stuff like that, and they can map out plans on how to make money off that stuff. So yeah, if they just need to be pushed along a little bit, fuck, do it, man.
I mean, you know how I feel. Like, I believe, this is what I honestly believe happened, okay? I believe that if 9/11 did happen the way they claim it happened, it was those 12 hijackers or whatever. They knew it was going to happen, and they planned accordingly, and it is the worst case scenario false flag in the history of mankind.
I will say this. I agree with you.
Too many things benefited everything for them to for it to all just be casual circumstance.
I don't think that because a lot of people think America did it. I don't think America did that. I think they knew about it. I think they had some idea that this could potentially happen, but they was looking at it like, well, we kind of let this happen, whatever. Because just like you said, it just played into too many hands perfectly afterwards. You know what I'm saying? And we make this whole big, and then we make a whole big thing about 9/11, and they don't give a fuck about the firefighters or the police officers, nothing. They took their health care away, all sorts of crazy shit. They don't give a fuck about that. They did their job.
So if we look at 9/11 as a false flag operation, as something where we blame a thing on somebody to...
Oh, it's the ultimate false flag.
So what was it?
The end result is we now have a war on terror, and a war on terror doesn't have boundaries. A war on terror doesn't have a specific person.
And
a war on terror can be anything you think can be terrifying.
Yep.
It's like, we got Osama bin Laden, theoretically, air quotes. Like,
yeah,
we
threw the
killed
nigga in
him
the
and
ocean.
they threw him in the ocean where no one will ever see him or whatever.
Who the fuck throws somebody in the goddamn ocean? But whatever.
Obama pushed him.
Fuck that
Anyways, but like, so then there's always going to be something else. Now we're fighting terrorists. Terrorists don't acknowledge borders. Terrorists are above law. You know what I mean? Like,
but what also came
now you can take that war anywhere. And notice every country we've been in under the guise of the war on terror, we've gone in, destabilized, and took over their natural resources. Half of them did not have a World Bank before we went in and destabilized. Look at like the last five
World
countries
Bank
that we
conspiracy
invaded.
is like 2 episodes from now, so let's not spoil
Okay,
it.
fair enough.
Well, you gotta let
But,
me
like,
know because I like to. I want to be
let
knowledgeable
all
about
that,
stuff.
Like that's huge picture, That's like puppet master shit. We want to invade that country. We want to invade that country. We're gonna set up World Bank. We're gonna set up World Bank. Let's invade that place and set up. You know what I mean? But like instantly here, like in America, it drew everyone together for at least like a year. You know what I mean?
But I just love how probably about
But like,
keep going.
the two biggest things I'll point to on the 10th, the Secretary of Defense comes out and goes, so we can't account for about $4 trillion. We don't know where it went. And then the next morning, the very wall where this information is stored next to is magically hit by a plane with no shrapnel, but a perfect hole in the wall to destroy. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. We never told you we lost $4 trillion. Did you see what they did to the Pentagon?
I've seen it. It didn't make any sense. It didn't make it from what happened. It didn't make any sense the way the demolition looked. It just didn't look. I don't know, man. I hate the fact that we don't really know. That's what pisses me off. It pisses me off that we live in a government or a society to where we have these people that are public servants, but they have the ability to keep information from us, and we can't just go and say, "Give us the fucking information."
What's interesting to me is that if we take the Gulf of Tonkin incident as a false flag, right?
Mhm.
And it has largely been proven to be exactly that.
Yeah.
Like, there's evidence to support it, and even the government has been like, yeah, we kind of faked that because we wanted to get in there and do some shit. If we wanted to look at 9/11, this isn't a foreign country We invaded fucking Afghanistan.
We can
For-
invade anywhere we want. We're chasing terror.
We have a fucking base in Saudi Arabia. We have a base in Germany. We have a base in Osaka, Japan. Like, we don't need a lot of reasons, honestly, to do this kind of shit, but we went to Afghanistan. Has no measurable resources.
Opium.
No, it doesn't even have that. If we wanted to do that, we would have gone south to where the Golden Triangle. Where's that?
James,
Myanmar.
Google where 90% of the world's heroin comes from.
Myanmar and the Golden Triangle.
No, Google it right now.
All right. Game on, motherfucker.
Another thing that the terrorists did is that it allowed them to create laws to where if you're labeled a terrorist, you have no rights under anything. They could do whatever the fuck they want to you. And
Instantly.
that's what they did with. They're doing it with Black Lives Matter with the whole black extremist people, the whole black extremist identity, whatever identity people. They're considered terrorists, so now they can go arrest Black Lives Matter members, and they have no protection under the law. And they've already done a couple of. They already got 2 people.
Oh, I'm sure more than that.
I know 2 that I seen or heard of, but you know, man, this man. It's like I say, whenever they want to do some shit, they'll make a law, just like the influenza or affluenza. Say we don't.
Are you battling addiction, James?
Apparently.
How is heroin made? Hey, listen, raw opium.
South America and Mexico drive much of it.
Drive much of the availability of heroin in the U.S. Around 90% of the heroin in the world originates in Afghanistan.
I
Protected by U.S.
I
soldiers.
politely bow to that. My mistake.
I kind of knew it too, but James, you be on your shit, so I was gonna let you find it first. But yeah, I read that too. That it comes from Afghanistan.
Don't come
And that's
in late to
only
the party.
after
You
we
won.
took over
Huh?
Afghanistan.
I'm just saying. I was giving you a bit. I'm like, you a smart dude, James. I'm like, maybe James right. I don't know.
Hold on. So I thought most of it, honestly, came from Southeast Asia.
And most of it did for a long time.
From
And then we took over
Laos,
Afghanistan.
Myanmar. But how is it? I
Because
can't
that's
even
where
argue.
we
I'm
grew
I'm literally like on my back foot and like just fuck it.
It's good, man. Look, it's just it is what it is.
But
you know,
what
ain't
I
shit we can do.
What I find funny is that it's the poppy flower that the Brits wear on Veterans Day or whatever they call it. What do the Brits call it? Bunch of British people died day. I don't fucking know.
Wow. If you're British and you know what that holiday is really called.
Armistice. No, I was going to say armistice, but
I was
that's
gonna
wrong
say,
too.
I'm like, what the hell?
Armistan. All right. Do we have anything to put out there?
False flags? I mean, I
No,
can do this all
personally,
day. Oh.
are we going to go back
Yeah,
to fucking conspiracies, or are we going to tap out?
Anything else you want to bring up, Bill? You saying this your wheelhouse? Seem like it.
I mean, we got 15 more minutes, right?
About 10. They
Did
go-
we start early?
Bring it.
I mean, what do you want to discuss?
Well, false flag is the thing that I find most compelling because we have no proof that 9/11 was false flag. If we
There
use
are so
precedents,
many things that point in that direction.
See,
though.
but this is how they get you though. It's the same way in court, man. If there's not a reasonable doubt that if you can't point something out and say we know this is a false flag because this, people are going to doubt it because they don't want to believe that the American government would do some shit like this. They don't want to believe it. It pulls back the curtain.
okay, so
No, I get it. That's why, like, the big debate for people that aren't actually into conspiracy theories on 9/11 is whether or not jet fuel can melt steel beams.
can't-
No one gives a fuck if jet
This
fuel
is my
can melt
thing.
steel beams.
This is why I don't believe.
$4 trillion.
This is why I don't believe that America did it. You know, so I believe they knew. I don't believe they did it because there's too many people have to know. and somebody's gonna go tell their wife or tell somebody, hey, you know, we just kind of put these explosives in these buildings. You know what I'm saying? It don't make you can't trust that many people. That's why I don't believe in aliens. You know, because there's too many motherfuckers to where you would have to watch that. Somebody gonna tell something and it's gonna get out. Or who knows, maybe it did get out and maybe somebody said something, but we just so inclined to not believe that bullshit that we just like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? But who knows?
That's why I 100% agree with you, because modern day false flag, 100%. Old school, back 60s, 70s, 80s, I absolutely believe, which makes me curious. Based on what you just said, people can't keep their mouth shut. Too many fucking people, too many fucking avenues to dispel that information, to put it out there. How do you still pull it off? So if Gulf of Tonkin only recently was determined to be legitimately like, yeah, we kind of pulled some shit because we wanted to go to war there. Let's instead of looking at 9/11, let's go backwards. How else did we do this? How did we do this in the civil rights movement? What did we do? What did the government do? So, Gulf of Tonkin, 62?
Sure.
I don't know. Don't ever ask me the year of anything. I don't know.
MLK assassanated 64?
I gotta know that.
No,
65. 65.
So these are all, there's a reason. What agenda does it push forward?
But that's the thing. We take guess because that's the information we have, but we don't really know, man. That's the thing that drives people
here's
crazy.
What it does. They've already determined that war is a moneymaker.
Oh, yeah.
If we can be in war, we're making money. So the Gulf of Tonkin is just an excuse to make money and grab someone else's resources.
Yeah.
No, I think
Hang on.
Okay.
As far as like them locking up Black Panthers, them killing Martin Luther King, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that is because it's easier to keep control of a people that are like uneducated and splintered and already like at each other's throats. It's like, if you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, they're going to tear each other. They're going to spend all day just keeping each other down.
Well, yes, that was the whole thing of ghettos. That you put a bunch of people in a box, you deprive them of resources, and they're going to turn on each other.
So what did they use as an excuse to facilitate that?
There really wasn't an excuse. It was just they didn't have an excuse. It was kind of like a creation.
Circumstances.
Yeah, they create circumstances that pushed black people into these things to where it's like you wouldn't let them get housing loans. Just a lot of discrimination allowed white people to move to suburbs and prosper, and black people to be in ghettos, and turn out the way that we turned out.
Did we, and I say we, as
and even
the
like
American
let me tell you
people-
how deep it goes. I'm sorry, I didn't want.
Go ahead.
Highways. I didn't know, so I do another podcast called the Boom Bap Tricks, and we do like a lot of activism stuff like that. And there's a big thing in Denver with the highway they're trying to build, and I didn't know that.
The I-70 corridor?
Yeah, and so we had this one girl. She's like, her name is Candy Ibaka, and she's like fighting against it like hardcore. And I didn't understand why. You know what I'm saying? She was saying like a long time in history, highways have been ways of tearing apart black and brown communities. You put it right through there. And she was saying, like, what they're trying to build now, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to do this. It's going to make the traffic worse. And plus, it's right by a school. And it's a law that a highway, because of the emissions, can't be so close to a school. But they're actually suing Denver because Denver paid off the people that's supposed to come in here and investigate that stuff and say no or yes, you can't do that. And Denver actually paid them off. And so it's a lot of shit going on. But I didn't know that about highways. But they're used to, like, cut places in half and
It's
really
the same way railways were used in the 30s, 40s, 50s.
That's why they cut
But
Aurora
this
in
is-
half
but-
with
but-
225.
and this is what I try to tell people, white people, is that y'all don't white people don't understand the magnitude that went into oppressing black people. It's not just slavery. It was so much after that, so much still going on, and it's just and every time I just research stuff, you find out more and more, and even the stuff that seems like they put forth to help people, it was really to hurt them in a way. You know, just like welfare and all that shit.
If you want to get into race, and I stepped away, I know last week while we had the black genocide thing going on. Anybody in this country that doesn't think that a lot of the shit that was put into play was racially fucking driven is retarded.
But they don't. That's the
Because,
thing.
and I can cite one very succinct example. I grew up in New England, New York, Long Island. Long Island has two highways. One that was built in the 30s, 40s, 50s called the Grand Central Parkway, which was supposed to bring everybody from the city out to Long Island, which is a 6-hour-ish journey to get to the end of. And during the great rebuild by the Roosevelt presidency, New
Deal.
Was it the New Deal? Where they hired fucking artisans to do shit. They built all the fucking overpasses low enough that a city bus could not get through it. All the fucking way out to at least central Long Island. After that, it becomes the Hamptons and just wealth dominates.
rich folks.
However, they literally made a blockade to prevent inner city people, blacks at the time, blacks and Hispanics, from getting past Long Island City, which is Long Island right on the end where Queens is, like literally made a fortress, like hurdles.
And that's what they do, and that's why I tell. That's why I was like, y'all. That's why black people be so, especially a black person that knows, black person that's researched the history and see that literally almost everything they've done to and for black people has been to really oppress them. Man, it really fucking sucks, but it is what it is.
Now, my only question in this is it really about race or is it about class?
I think it's both. I think. Well, this is what I tell people. Racism was a byproduct of classism. Because, like I say...
I disagree. I think classism is a byproduct of racism.
No. People were taught to be racist. Rich motherfuckers have always thought themselves to be higher than everybody else. But like I say, they abolished slavery. And they thought, the poor whites thought the slaves were going to go back to Africa, but they didn't. They stayed there. And they were slaves. They were still slaves. They didn't have anywhere to go, so they still worked on the plantation. So the poor whites couldn't get those jobs they thought they were going to get when the Africans were going to go back. So they started to rebel against the people, the rich folks. But it was literally right outside their door. You didn't have suburbs, and you didn't have cities or ghettos. It was like plantation town. So we could just walk up to your fucking door like, hey, you need to get up out of here. So what they did was they took the poor whites, they created the police. You're to police the blacks. And then that's when they started to villainize the blacks. So it was classism first because the rich people like, hey, we can't have this. So we're going to make it so we're going to create racism. We're going to create, because to where I could see to where white people were like, these niggas over here, but it wasn't a thing that was commercialized until after slavery was abolished. And those rich white people were afraid that poor whites and poor blacks were going to get together and go against them. And that's the whole thing to keep them separate. They want to keep black people so low that they can't do anything, and then they want to have white people feel like they're a little bit above, because like, that's what they told them. They're like, no matter how poor you are, you'll never be less than a nigga. We'll make sure of that. So you always have somebody to look down on. So I think racism was a byproduct of classism.
I'll buy that because like people hated people like. If you go back to like France in the 1400s or whatever, like I guarantee there are people that had been like multi-generations all in that village or city or whatever, and they fucking hated someone because they had or didn't have what they had.
Well, that's the have and have nots.
Well, that's the origins of all of it.
It just seems like they created racism to protect themselves. I'm gonna make y'all fight while I just sit here and pull the strings.
and that's actually where the root of all of it is. Hey, if we can look, it's the same reason fucking rich motherfuckers do dog fights. Something less than me has to battle for its own existence.
You know what I want to talk about with you? We got to talk about one day. I was watching this thing on Netflix, and it was about these houses. Like, it's called Amazing Houses, some shit like that. But it's like these fucking houses that their people went to undisclosed areas, and they built these magnificent houses, you know, and they never tell you. They show a couple of the people who they are. They showed, like, the wives. They never showed the husbands. I'm telling you. Never showed the husband. They always showed the wife. And it was this one woman. She took a Boeing. Whatever one she had it stripped apart. She literally had it in the Swiss Alps on a mountain. Right? And then they show her. She's like, oh, she's a retired BMW salesman. Get the fuck out of here. First of all, that's not even money. That's power to have a fucking house made out of a jet on a Swiss Alps mountain. And they literally had to, I don't even know how they got the stuff up there to build it. Because you had to take a fucking gondola to get to the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, but like, what I noticed about everything in a lot of rich people's houses is it's all, they don't have any walls. It's all glass. It's all windows. You seen that? You think it's something to that?
I think it's so you can see people coming.
No, I actually.
Do you think it's more of like on a mental level? Like, is it something they're trying?
An arrogance there.
It's arrogance. You think to like look
I
at
do.
me?
Look. I grew up into a certain degree of affluence, and in the town I grew up in, I was probably on the less affluent end of that. You know, so you can kind of look at me like, that's a weird thing to be down with. However, you take part of that comes from an artistic, because Frank Lloyd Wright, and there's another architect in the town I grew up in, built a house within no walls. It was all glass walls. Yeah. And that's a whole thing. And so there's an artistic statement, but when does that transcend to become from an artistic statement to become, I'm arrogant enough to own a house and walk around naked in a house within no walls. It's just glass. Like, there's enough there are people out there that are like, nope, I'm that good that it's like, fuck you. But also they're going to put that house in the middle of like 25 acres around them, so nobody can actually
really
see them.
But it's just
They have that for themselves to be like, I'm better. No, you're not.
And
fuck
you kind of made a good point when you were saying like you was on the lower spectrum of the richness in your, and people don't understand, like they talk about us and keeping up with the Joneses. Rich people keep up with the Joneses too, and they'll go broke trying to keep. It was because it was one person with this house, Joe. They did show the husband on this one. It was the husband and the wife. This dude, he built. It was a beautiful house in the desert. He wanted to build a house in the desert. It was Arizona somewhere, but it's like in the middle of nowhere. But he didn't want to disturb the natural environment, so he actually had the house made out of sand from the area, and there's no the sun hits the sand walls, it'll capture the heat and it'll release it at night, and it's warm during the day. It's a beautiful house, and the way he made it was perfect, but he spent so much money. The wife was pissed. She was up there like, and she was literally like, we're destroyed because of this. And what happened was, so when they built the house, they couldn't even come out to the house for a year. And they left and whoever built it left the door open, so all the rodents and the outside was just coming in for a year. So they had to spend like so much more money to get that done. And she was just like, this destroyed us. She's like, I don't even want to be here. I don't like it. It was crazy. But it was just, it's one of those things to where they're so arrogant to where they'll see that it's not like they can't afford it, but because they probably know other motherfuckers that have the same shit, they can't back down now because that makes them look bad. So they'll literally go broke trying to keep up with the Joneses. But we're talking about Joneses that have billions of dollars, you know. So it's just interesting to see, man.
I know we've done this little exercise before.
What we doing with it?
However, The Glass House.
Let's see if we can see one of the Rothschild's
Ow.
house.
You want to see something really interesting?
What's up?
I'm trying to get my bearings because I grew up in this town. It's Congregational Church. So the mayor of Mexico City, this is back in the early 90s, had a mistress. I'm following this road. On a bridge, it's up and around here.
Did you ever steal the street sign that said Weed Street?
I did, and got arrested for it. As a matter of fact, they caught me. They caught me on a DWI when I had driven 2.5 hours back from where I was, and I crossed a double yellow. One of those. There was a hill coming up, so I cut the corner to maintain speed. And there was a cop in the corner, grabbed me, made me do the fucking line on a hill with no lights, and was just like, "You're drunk." It's like, dude, my last beer was 2.5 hours ago. I'm not going to argue that I've been drinking excessively. Put me into the back of the cop car after he said, "I need you to count down from 40 to 30. I said, okay, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 37, 38. And he was just like, "Please step out of the vehicle." Cool. Did the whole thing, walked the line. I walked the line because he was just shining the light on the ground on a street with no fucking lights. And I wobbled and he grabbed me. "Oh, you're drunk." My greatest victory in all of this is that I had a pipe in my back pocket the whole time that they never found. However, I did have to go to jail, to the local jail, and when they called my mother to post bail, and she showed up drunker than I had been at any time during the evening, to the point that when we walked out, I turned to my mom, I was like, "Should I drive?" But when I'm sitting in the backseat of the police car with my hands cuffed, and they open my trunk and they find my bong and they find all this, and I see them pull out the Weed Street sign that I'd stolen like 4 days earlier. I'm like, "God damn it! Why didn't I put that in my house?"
So what are you trying to show us with this
I'm
mystery?
trying to find you the goddamn mayor of Mexico's house. Where's my satellite view? Boom. That'll help me. It's on this road. Ooh. Because this motherfucker built a goddamn compound. Maybe
telling
it's
you, man,
been fucking torn down. Turtleback. That's.
I'm gonna give me some money before I die, man. I'm gonna taste that life for a few years before I get the fuck up out of here. That's what I'm working on now. God damn it. I just want a few years. I get that shit away.
Like, seriously, I don't even remember this, but holy God, look at this.
Mm-hmm.
That's a basketball court.
A full-size basketball court, which is about 3 miles from the pool. I don't know what the fuck that is. You got, what's this? Probably guest house. A guest
Yeah.
house.
With
Fuck
its own
it.
driveway.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, as a matter of fact, that's where it is. That's the house. They've torn it down and rebuilt new. You have a basketball court that you got to like do 1.5 miles to get to the pool.
To the pool.
They got golf carts. They're good.
And then is it like Hemlock Grove? Is that where they made Hemlock Grove at? This look like some Hemlock Grove shit. Did y'all see that on Netflix, Hemlock Grove?
No,
Oh, you watch that. That's a good ass show.
All right.
It's some sci-fi shit
I
though.
think it's time to tap. Any plugs?
But
Yeah, I'll be at Comedy Works on Wednesday for the Funny Final Four. If you call and use my name Anthony Armstrong, I think you get discounted tickets. Also, I'll be a part of the Raw Artist Collective show at the church on May 5th. I gotta set my website up for you to go buy tickets from, but it's a dope ass show. I went to the one in February. It was like 2,000 people there. It's a variety show of up and coming talent from the surrounding neighborhood, and it's pretty dope. But I'll get the information out to that when I get my website set up for it.
And if you don't follow him on Facebook, you're just wrong. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Bear.
Taxes in 2 weeks. You're getting nothing, man. 420 weekend, I've got some shows coming up, but I'll promote those later.
Yeah, 420. I'll be in. I got a show in Chicago. Yeah, I'll promote that when it gets close to. So
You don't want to tease nothing?
I mean, 420 weekend, I'm going to be out there telling jokes. That's all the tease you need.
If you have the opportunity, go see fucking Bear tell some jokes.
I'll get high with you after the show.
Me too, I'm
Maybe
kinda funny.
before the show.
No.
have you seen me? Have you seen me? Have you seen me yet?
I've seen you, actually.
Yeah.
Not that funny.
Looks are
DJ.
I just want to throw fucking shade on you so bad.
You seen me for real, James?
Yeah, I saw you at
How long ago?
what was Sun
Rising Sun?
Yeah.
You was there? Fuck, you be creeping, man. Your ass be creeping, dude. I didn't even notice you there.
He'll tell you.
Dude, this guy had been like, good set last night. I'm like, dude, you weren't anywhere near that shit last night. No, I was there, and he'll tell me what I wore and like what jokes I told.
This motherfucker be
like,
creeping around, man, because I ain't Rising Sun. That's my spot. I ain't never seen you in that motherfucker, man. Or I ain't never noticed you in that motherfucker. Okay, I
Right
see.
next to a brewery that I have a good, close connection with. So, yes, I'm always over there. And I'm just like,
Okay,
And
shit.
yes, as Bear pointed out, is like, I'm not the guy that's going to be, hey, I'm here, man. Good to see you.
just gotta
I'm
come.
super
I'm kinda like
excited.
that, too.
I just hang in the
I'm like
back.
that, too.
I want to laugh. I want to laugh like a fucking audience member.
Yeah, I get you. I do that too. I go out to a lot of shows just to watch, and I'll just sit in the back and watch, and I'll leave. So, yeah. We got to get Bell some more motherfucking shows out here. So if you got some plugs for Bell, put this motherfucker on your show. He's funny, goddamn. He's very underrated.
Ooh, I feel like I'm like one of the top indie comics in Denver.
I am too, kind of like though. Motherfuckers don't do.
Right.
It's like out here, man. It's like if you don't need help, people try to like push you down. It's like it's like the motherfuckers that are just good, naturally good. You have the hardest time getting shows when you see weak motherfuckers on shows all the time. It's like, what the fuck is going on? It's bullshit.
It's because you're not pandering to everyone because you know your comedy doesn't need it.
Yeah, and they don't like
That's
that.
the best explanation my mind can come up with.
Yeah.